Good morning, everyone. The Caribbean Tourism Organization is very pleased to welcome you all to this regional webinar for the official launch and unveiling of the community-based tourism online course and the chapter on health, safety, and service standards and guidelines in CBT. I would like to recognize the presence of our distinguished panel of speakers and presenters. Mr. Neil Walters, Acting Secretary General of the Caribbean Tourism Organization. Mr. Hugo Blanco, Deputy Resident Representative, United Nations Development Program, Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean. Mr. Wayne Elliott, Coordinator, Innovation and Productivity in Caribbean Firms and Clusters, Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility. And Mr. Jim Fitt, CEO of Velsoft Learning Materials, Inc. I welcome and acknowledge also the presence of the Honorable Ministers and Commissioners of Tourism, Directors of Tourism, and Senior Tourism and Technical officers of the Caribbean Tourism Organization member countries. I recognize the presence of regional tourism and development partners, including the team at the UNDP Office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, representatives from Compete Caribbean, the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, the Association of Caribbean States, and the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States Commission, and all other groups that were able to join us this morning. I also recognize members of the management and creative teams at Velsoft Learning Materials, Inc., our online training partners. A truly warm welcome to everyone in attendance, especially our community-based tourism practitioners who are with us this morning. As we commence the proceedings, I would like to extend special thanks and acknowledge the contribution of United Nations Development Program, Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, for providing the strategic and financial assistance through the UNDP Future Tourism Project to produce the CBT online course and chapter on health, safety, and service standards and guidelines in CBT. Special thanks is also extended to the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility for the ongoing partnership and financing of the CBT Enterprise Handbook, from which the CBT online course was adapted. I am now pleased to invite Mr. Neil Walters, Acting Secretary General of the Caribbean Tourism Organization, to deliver opening remarks. Over to you.
Hi, good morning, and thank you, Sharon. I'm always thankful when somebody does that part for me in terms of covering all the protocol. Makes my life a lot easier, so I really appreciate that, Sharon. But in all seriousness, I want to say welcome to all of you here on the panel, as Sharon mentioned, and also those of you who are joining us as guests for this launch, which is, we consider it an important milestone in terms of a future step for the Caribbean Tourism Institute, which was launched last year. So I want to thank you all for participating in this launch, and I hope that what we say here adds to the process and inspires many of you to take part in the online training. And as we hope that the Caribbean continues to benefit from these sort of initiatives and widen the gap as much as possible for persons to be able to be fully trained and fully spec'd out for the new paradigm in which we find ourselves. So, I mean, we've all said it, we are here to formally launch this new course, this community-based tourism, and I'll call it CBT for safety going forward, online course, which incorporates a chapter on health, safety, and service standards and guidelines in CBT. As I started to mention, the creation of capacity building tools and delivery of education and training programs are key pillars of the work of the CTO to support tourism development. In recognition of our mutual objective to advance technology adoption and to provision digital resources for capacity building, the CTO entered into a partnership with UNDP Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean for the conversion of the CBT Enterprise Handbook produced in collaboration with Compete Caribbean into an online course, including the chapter mentioned on health, safety, and service standards and guidelines to guide the safe delivery of CBT experiences. The ability to deliver opportunities for training, and in particular via online learning, have become critically important in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. This is of strategic importance to the CTO in seeking to ensure that our programs can be accessed by the widest possible audience of tourism stakeholders across the region. CTO also recognizes the value of CBT and the potential it holds to expand the benefits of tourism more directly to local communities and micro, small, and medium tourism enterprises. Online learning offers flexibility and convenience to persons seeking to increase their knowledge and skills, while also offering more equitable access for all stakeholders. The online course that is the focus of our attention today includes 8 micro modules and was designed to build the capacity of persons in government, private sector, and to the general community to develop CBT adapted to local realities. The course provides information on experience packaging and product development, business and financial management planning, marketing, including social media and online marketing, resource mobilization, and creating business plans, among others. It comprises various templates which can be customized, as well as best practices checklists. The objective is to increase the chance of success for CBT businesses and further sustain CBT as a regional tourism development strategy. The chapter on health, safety, and service has also been incorporated as a micro module in the online course. The chapter provides guidelines and recommendations on health, safety, and service standards, tailored to meet the need for safe delivery of CBT products, services, and experiences. The chapter focuses on policies, strategies, and good practices that contribute to providing a safe service, supports tourism sector resilience, and advances decent work and sustainable livelihoods in the sector. It should be noted that in addition to the CBT online course, several of our resources have been adapted for e-learning, and the CTO will be updating various professional development courses for online delivery. We therefore view the Caribbean Tourism Institute and online courses as important tools to support ongoing training, institutional capacity development, and overall capacity building. Given the opportunities for employment and entrepreneurship afforded by CBT for rural, marginalized, and indigenous communities, and the predominance of women and youth engaging in CBT initiatives, priority will be given to ensure a high level of participation in these training activities by women and young entrepreneurs working in tourism. Participants will obtain a certificate for successful completion of the CBT online course, which will provide an incentive to enroll and complete the course, and also add value to regional populations that may find challenges finding opportunities for professional development. I have to acknowledge our partner Belsoft Learning Materials for continuing to make the Caribbean Tourism Institute possible. And I would like to thank, of course, our partners, UNDP Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, and the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility for the collaboration and support, which assisted the CTO to deliver on this important mandate. I thank you very much, and I look forward to the rest of today's proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Walters. I am pleased to invite Mr. Hugo Blanco, Deputy Resident Representative, United Nations Development Program, Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, to deliver his remarks. UNDP launched the Future Tourism Project, Rethinking Tourism and MSMEs in Times of COVID-19 in 2021 as part of their efforts to support Caribbean tourism recovery and mitigate the impacts of the pandemic. The CTO is pleased to have been a project beneficiary, and we look forward to future collaboration opportunities with UNDP. Welcome, Hugo. Over to you.
Thanks a lot, Sharon. And protocol has been established, but let me just acknowledge Mr. Walter's participation and his leadership on the Caribbean Tourism Organization, but also Compete Caribbean, good friends there, Jim, Partnership Facility, and all the value partners that are connected. I'm very pleased to represent United Nations Development Program here today. It's been a long road since COVID pandemic hit. We are not experts by any means on tourism, but I think we know a little bit about resilience, about vulnerability, about socioeconomic impacts, about working with the most vulnerable, about supporting MSMEs. And that's why, and we know a little bit about partnerships. And that's why we are so pleased to be here today with the CTO, the Caribbean Tourism Organization, the leading institution in the region. If we talk about tourism in the Caribbean, we need to talk with the CTO and be guided by them. And with Compete Caribbean, an incredible initiative that it's making a change, that is investing, that it's pioneering, it's moving the conversation to the next level. So for UNDP, it's a great pleasure to be part of this partnership, this collaboration with the CTO and Compete Caribbean. I'll be very brief, Sharon, but UNDP, we wanted to support governments and communities to bounce back, to recover, to build forward better in the context of COVID. The Caribbean is the second most dependent tourism region in the world. So we had clear that if we wanted to make a difference, we had to work on tourism and to MSMEs in the region. And that's why we thought, first, we need the data. What's happening? So we gather some data on the socioeconomic impacts of COVID. Then we thought about how COVID is going to change the future, how it's going to impact the region, and how it's going to affect the tourism. And that's why we had these regional dialogues in which prime ministers participated. CTO was predominantly there, and few others. And we came up with the program of future tourism, with the idea of ensure that the MSMEs, the small businesses, they have the skills to adapt, to pivot to the new post-COVID environment and build resilience to external shocks and improve their ability to respond to the new needs and the emerging markets, right? So that's what we tried to do with CDB, with the Caribbean Development Bank, with the University of West Indies, fabulous partnerships, great capacity, very active engagement and commitment, and with expertise on business from the Frankfurt School. So we've been working with 10 Eastern Caribbean governments to support MSMEs across the region in what we call business adaptation programs that comprise 3 phases, namely virtual training, online training, obviously in the context of COVID, technical assistance and monitoring, so a very close collaboration throughout the program, and then financial assistance, training plus financial assistance, capital grants, and then monitoring. I'm happy to say that more than 400 MSMEs in the Eastern Caribbean region benefited from this program, with more than 75%, let me repeat this, 75% of the beneficiaries being female-owned MSMEs. 2 more comments, Sharon, if I may, very quickly. One of the key ideas that came out from the regional policy dialogues is that the current tourism value chain is neither sustainable nor inclusive. So the formula, the 3 S's formula, traditional formula, the sun, sea, and sand, is not enough. We have to move towards something that includes social inclusion, sustainability, smart destination, and businesses. And the community-based tourism has these 3 elements at the core. Let me repeat them again: social inclusion, sustainability, and smart destination and business. So knowing the excellent work that the CTO and the Compete Caribbean had already done with the community-based tourism, for us, it felt natural that we were part of this conversation, this initiative. Today's event, this community-based tourism enterprise handbook, is an excellent tool to guide MSMEs and tourist partners in the region on how to start, operate, and promote CBT, community-based tourism business in the Caribbean. I really hope that the new online course being launched today and the toolkit helps to understand better how CBT can be spread out throughout the region and the impacts that it has at community level and also at national level. And the last message I wanted to share, colleagues, is that as Marla Dukaran said in one of the policy dialogues, the well-known Caribbean economist, going back is the wrong way. So we cannot continue doing business as usual in the tourism sector if we want to see something different next time there is another pandemic, another financial crisis, another natural disaster. We need to make a collective effort to ensure that the future of tourism in the region is sustainable and inclusive. And community-based tourism is the right way to go. You know, as UN and UNDP, the Sustainable Development Goals is our DNA. It's at the core of everything we do. The 2030 agenda for a sustainable future. So I wish to conclude by expressing my appreciation to all of you who are here today, more than 116 people connected, that considers that there is a different way to do things. And please count with UNDP to walk that path. This is, of course, for us, it's a pleasure to work with CTO and Compete Caribbean. We have been very pleased to be part of this partnership, and I sincerely hope that this is just the genesis of a continued future engagement. UNDP will not be here today without them and their strategic guidance. Thank you so much for inviting us to this event. Over.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for sharing on the successes of the Future Tourism Project, as well as leaving us with some key messages as we all continue to work together to develop and enhance the community tourism based products that we have and experiences across our region. Thank you very much. I now invite Mr. Wayne Elliott, Coordinator, Innovation and Productivity in the Caribbean Firms and Clusters, Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, to deliver his remarks. CTO has an ongoing partnership with Compete Caribbean, which dates back to 2018. Together, we've implemented numerous initiatives to support community-based tourism and micro, small, and medium enterprises development, including the CBT Enterprise Handbook, which was produced as part of a comprehensive community-based tourism toolkit. And so we appreciate our partnership with Compete Caribbean and look forward to future initiatives. I welcome now Mr. Elliott to address you. Over to you, Mr. Elliott.
Thank you very much, Sharon. So adopting the protocols that have already been established, it is indeed my pleasure to present brief remarks on behalf of the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, or CCPF, and its donors, the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB, the UK Foreign and Commonwealth Development Office, SCDO, Global Affairs Canada, and the Caribbean Development Bank, CDB. Compete Caribbean supports the region in increasing the productivity and innovation levels of Caribbean firms towards increasing the private sector's contribution to economic growth. Our specific objectives are twofold. One, to support firms to grow, compete, innovate, and enter new sectors and markets. And two, to promote an environment that enables innovation and growth. At Compete, we recognize that community-based tourism is a powerful channel for sustainable and inclusive economic development in the Caribbean. CBT enables greater market opportunities for a broad base of local entrepreneurs, which in turn creates employment opportunities. Moreover, CBT represents an opportunity for regional tourism stakeholders to further diversify and to continue to develop their tourism product offerings in a unique and value-adding way. This, we believe, is worthy of special consideration as we chart the post-COVID-19 era. Today, I wish to congratulate CTO for continuing to advance its work to facilitate and guide the development of community-based tourism in the Caribbean. Similarly, I wish to take the time to thank the UNDP for their contribution to the continued dissemination of the Caribbean Community-Based Tourism Handbook via the development of the online course and the chapter on health, safety, and service standards and guidelines in CBT. Building entrepreneurship and supporting the innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem are two critical challenges that need greater attention and support. So we thank you very much for your support. If this region is to continue to make significant strides in its pursuit of sustainable development, we believe that CBT must be a part of the pot. In the case of rural and even remote communities, the challenges are even more dire, and community-based tourism and the entrepreneurship that it brings is one such way to achieve such development at the community level. It is for these reasons and others that Compete Caribbean supported development of the community-based tourism toolkit in collaboration with the CTO. During the past 3 years, we've had quite an experience. We've invested quite a bit in CBT research and advocacy, training and institutional strengthening of regional stakeholders and institutions, as well as the development of other supporting tools to enable CBT enterprises. In addition, Compete Caribbean continues to finance CBT enterprises via direct support to firms and clustering initiatives. The medium being launched today will assist in amplifying our reach to stakeholders and beneficiaries within the regional CBT space. It will also assist with building stakeholder capacity and developing the regional CBT entrepreneurship pipeline. For this support, we say thank you. I wish to reiterate my gratitude to the CTO and the UNDP for partnering with us to deliver on our mandate of supporting private sector development in the Caribbean. To learn more about our opportunities and the work that we've done and the work that we continue to do, I encourage you to follow our social media channels and to subscribe to our newsletter. You can find all this information at www.competecaribbean.org. And we do have a social media challenge, so look out for it and enjoy your day. We wish you all the best and the greatest success in your CBT endeavors.
Thank you, Mr. Elliott. And we at the CTO can surely attest to the work, the phenomenal work that Compete Caribbean has been doing in the area of community-based tourism. And we look forward to continued collaboration with you. Let me pause here for a minute to just invite you, our colleagues in the audience, to write any questions or comments that you may have in the Q&A function of this Zoom platform. And when we get to that item on the agenda, I will direct those questions to the respective member or members of our panel. So please use the Q&A function if you should have any comments or questions that you wish for us to take a look at. Thank you again, Mr. Elliott. I now have the pleasure of introducing Mr. Jim Fitt, CEO, Velsoft Learning Materials, Inc. The CTO entered into a strategic partnership with Velsoft in 2021, as you would have heard Mr. Walters say in his opening remarks. And through this partnership, which includes our tourism private sector partner, the Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association, we have established the Caribbean Tourism Institute online learning platform. Velsoft was contracted as the consulting firm to facilitate the conversion of the CBT Enterprise Handbook into an online course, which is being launched here today, and it's hosted on the Caribbean Tourism Institute website. Jim Fitt is president and founder of Velsoft, and under Fitt's leadership, Velsoft has grown from a small ebook publisher to a global leader in courseware development, working with HR managers, corporate trainers, private training firms, and educational institutions of all sizes to institute a new level of training by offering customized course curriculum in a software format. Among the pioneers in online course development, Fit and his team have grown the company by building new solutions internally, making strategic acquisitions and establishing relationships with key technology partners. With product being used in over 160 countries worldwide, Velsoft helps customers enhance their training programs, tailored to both instructor-led as well as self-guided delivery. As a former IT instructor with the Nova Scotia School of Fisheries and Nova Scotia Community College System, Mr. Fit has combined his educational background with entrepreneurial abilities to create a corporation that is on the leading edge of the workplace learning and performance industry, what they call WLP. I welcome Jim, who will present the community-based tourism online course and walk us through a live demonstration of one of the course modules. Mr. Fit, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. I appreciate that. It was very kind of you. Well, I get to do the fun part of the presentation. I get to actually do the unveiling and show all the great work that's been done. But just before I do that, I just want to say certainly thank you to UNDP for their support in this project, and Compete Caribbean for all the support in terms of partnership and everything else that was involved. I especially want to thank CTO for their leadership and vision in this particular program, and it was such a pleasure to work on this. And not only was it a great project, but it was a feel-good project. We know at the end of the day, it's going to be helping a lot of people. So we're very happy to work on this project, and we're very excited today to be able to bring it to everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen right now, and as of right now, I hope everyone can see my screen. So certainly if you can't, let me know. But I first want to share with you how you get access to the course, and then we're going to look at the courses themselves. So as mentioned several times throughout the presentation today, there is an amazing resource online now called the Caribbean Tourism Institute, found at caribbeantourisminstitute.com. If you haven't been there in the past, certainly feel free to visit this location and see the amazing work that's being done there. When you get to this site, scrolling down a little bit, immediately you're going to see access now, as of today, to the program itself. So it's very easy to get to the program. There is no cost. We simply have to register you into the system, and it's very easy to do that. So there is no cost. But by adding it, in a sense, to your cart, it allows you the process of getting your own unique account so that you can take the course, you can return to the course, and you can also be able to measure your success in that course. And don't forget, learning is an ongoing process. So always feel free to come back and take aspects of the courses again. So once you get access to the courses, and once you set up that account for the first time, you're going to be presented when you return with the login screen. So I'm going to right now log in. And once I choose to log in, I'm immediately presented with all the courses. And now, one thing to keep in mind, and this is all part of this vision I talked about that CTO has, there's a major trend right now in how people learn. And I think that was a bit happening before COVID, but really accelerated during the pandemic itself. And that we're turning to this and being more comfortable with this type of learning, and we're consuming it more. But we also want it in small bite-sized chunks, where it's in a very micro learning environment. So as part of the vision was to say, let's take this handbook and let's make it 8 distinct but related programs that are smaller in duration, that give people this sense that they're accomplishing more as they continue on. But it also gives the opportunity to be able to use each individual course as its own perhaps module in future courses, or mixing and matching, or having different people use different, have different priorities of what they want to take first or second. So it's very, I would say, innovative in the approach, but it's very, in our world and technology, we refer to it as agile. It's very agile. We have lots that we can do. It's very easy to update. It's very easy to improve going forward. So once you log in, you will be presented with the courses. And what we're going to do is simply, you can click the name of any course, or you'll be able to click the begin button. Everything is going to be very mobile friendly. Hopefully you can hear that okay.
Welcome to Course 1, Understanding Community-Based Tourism.
So we want to make it interactive. We want to make it entertaining. We want people to enjoy the learning process. But just to give you a very quick tour of the course itself before we look through a couple pages, just keep in mind that it's very easy to navigate through the course. You can jump around, and this is course 1 of 8, as you've seen. They're broken into sessions, so we can actually jump back to certain sessions if we wanted to, and kind of navigate using the menu on the left-hand side. Or what most likely will happen is most individuals will choose to advance linearly through by hitting next as we continue to go. So let's, we could hit next, or we could hit the prompt to invite us to continue through the
This
course.
course focuses on the global travel industry, understanding community-based tourism, and how to protect and involve the local community.
You'll notice that, I'll let
At
this,
the end of this workshop, you should be able to understand the tourism industry and CBT, know how to be respectful of the local culture and community.
so what you'll notice is that we are presenting this in a way that not only have we taken the course itself and broken it into consumable bite-sized chunks, but we've also, each course itself is spaced very thoughtfully so that we're not loading too much information on one particular slide. We're able to present it in a way that it's more comfortable for learners. A lot of research has
Session
gone
2,
into it
The
itself.
global travel sector. Tourism is a complex industry made up of several different sectors. The Caribbean Tour is an organization, CTO, the tourism development agency for the region, recognizes the following 8 core supply subsectors: transportation, attractions, tourism services, events and conferences, accommodation, food and beverage, adventure tourism, tours and activities, travel trade. Tourism services is made up of the government agencies, tourism organizations, and trade associations that support the development and marketing of tourism. The travel trade is made up of the tour operators and travel agents that sell travel products to consumers. The combined sectors are called the tourism value chain. In this course, the word product is broadly used to refer to the offer of a community tourism business. It includes products, tours and activities, and services offered by all of the different tourism sectors.
So as we're just going to continue through a couple pages to give you a sense of what to expect when taking the course. But I would like to once again reiterate that we want this to be enjoyable. We want this to be, as we continue on, you would find that it will grow in interactivity, and that there'll be more opportunities for people to engage in the course. And it's not simply presentation style. It is on the first couple slides as we get people into it, but then there's lots of ways that people are challenged and in fun, engaging ways through activities and interactions.
The Caribbean tourism sector and your business are part of the global tourism industry. So it is important that you understand the global big picture. According to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, UNWTO, travel and tourism is among the biggest and fastest growing economic sectors in the world. It is closely linked to development and is one of the main sources of income for developing countries. In 2018, international tourist arrivals grew by 6% to 1.4 billion. This number is expected to rise to 1.8 billion arrivals by 2030. The following websites are useful for learning about the global travel and tourism industry. Check out the UNWTO site for more about the global tourism sector and how it contributes to local well-being and sustainable development. Learn about how the World Travel and Tourism Council works with governments to raise awareness about the travel and tourism industry.
So now that we've walked through it simply a couple of pages, and certainly look forward to each and every one on this presentation being going in and actually taking some of the courses. Just to bring us back to the main area again. So we've just had a quick look at course number 1. So as you will see here, there's actually 8 courses covering the introduction that we just looked at and understanding the CBT space, the planning the CBT business, understanding the markets, developing your product, pricing the product, marketing your product, developing financial management skills, all very, very important. And the new addition to the original handbook that was revised and updated for this, which is the Health, Safety, and Service Standards and Guidelines for CBT. Now, keeping in mind that not only is this the interactive version for the CBT practitioners to be able to take and interact and learn from, but in addition to this, the project also included a kit for each one of these courses for trainers to be able to go in to different communities and be able to provide these as live training in addition to being able to see it as e-learning courses. So the project kind of had 2 different perspectives, the instructor-led side of it and the kits for that, as well as the e-learning side of it, which can be accessed anywhere, particularly knowing that more than half of the people using this will use it on a mobile device. It had to be mobile friendly as well. So there's been a lot of thought in the background on how to not only prepare the courses, but make sure they're easily used and easily understood and successful going forward. So with that, I just want to summarize by saying thanks again for being for allowing us to be part of this project, but also reminding you to go to the Caribbean Tourism Institute to be able to access and take these courses for yourself. And with that, I want to say thanks again and back to you, Sharon.
Thank you very much, Jim. I'm sure that our colleagues here today are looking forward to really exploring these CBT micro courses. And so I extend that invitation, as did Jim, to visit the Caribbean Tourism Institute and to really take a close look at the micro courses. And as Jim said, there are also packages, instructor-led packages, for when trainers want to go into respective communities, that there's a kit they have that they can utilize with PowerPoint presentations, participant manuals, instructor manuals, handouts. I'm correct, Jim, right? In terms of what is in that package. So really wonderful resources that we've been able to have developed with the help of UNDP, Barbados and Eastern Caribbean funding. So thank you again, Jim, for walking us through that. I now welcome Ms. Amanda Charles, the Sustainable Tourism Specialist at the Caribbean Tourism Organization, who will speak to you on the chapter. Ms. Charles served as the project manager liaising with UNDP and the project consultants, and she will provide an introduction to the chapter on health, safety, and service standards and guidelines in CBT, which has been integrated into the online course, as Jim would have shown you just now, the final micro course. The chapter was produced by tourism consultant and trainer, Ms. Joan Leacock, who regrettably is unable to join us today. So Amanda, over to you to take us through this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sharon. And the protocol having been established, thank you to our partners, UNDP, the Compete Caribbean, and Velsoft, certainly, as well as Miss Leacock, who's really done a stellar job in producing the chapter on health, safety, and service standards and guidelines for community-based tourism. And we thought it was opportune to include this chapter on health, safety, and service, given the increased need for health and safety standards in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. And we were very pleased that UNDP agreed to support the CTO in producing this chapter, which, as Sharon mentioned, forms the final micro course module as part of the CBT online course. So in terms of setting the context, the chapter provides an overview of health, safety, and service standards and guidelines. So we've created a physical manual in terms of the chapter. And of course, that has been integrated into an interactive online course. The objective of the chapter is to provide guidelines and recommendations on health, safety, and service to inform the safe delivery of CBT products, services, and experiences. As it relates to the target audience, this would be beneficial for CBT enterprises, certainly communities, as well as public and private sector, tourism development, and business support organizations in the Caribbean. In providing an overview of the chapter, it includes strategies to inspire and enable CBT attractions or the providers of CBT experiences to meet high service quality standards while providing visitors with an authentic experience in a healthy and safe environment. The chapter includes information which illustrate health and safety protocols which have been espoused by relevant global, regional, and local agencies. We include best practices, checklists, and guidelines for delivering on health, safety, and service. And recommendations are included to improve the effectiveness of CBT operations, and which is complemented with regional case studies or success stories. Most importantly, we've included a facilitator guide and a student manual. So it means that not only can individual practitioners, CBT practitioners, undertake the course, but we've equipped trainers to be able to deliver to their various constituents. And interestingly, one of the outputs of this project was to host a training of trainers workshop. And this was attended by over, I believe, just over 20 trainers from across CTO member countries. So we're really very happy that we are able to build the capacity of our regional institutions to support CBT enterprises. So the chapter comprises 3 modules. The first outlines health, safety, and service trends and guidelines in community-based tourism. Module 2 includes information to support health, safety, and service delivery in the context of CBT. And the final module, module 3, speaks to the future of community-based tourism attractions. In the next few slides, I will provide a very brief overview as it relates to the learning objectives of each module and summarize our key findings as it relates to service excellence or quality excellence in CBT. So module 1, learning objectives. We've included information to provide an awareness of the importance of CBT to the economy of the Caribbean, particularly in the post-COVID-19 context as we look towards recovery. So this is general information that establishes the background for why we would encourage our member countries to continue to support CBT development. Another critical objective is to facilitate understanding of the global, regional, and national changes related to health, safety, and service that are impacting tourism and community-based tourism enterprises. So the CBT manual from which the online course was adapted was produced in 2019. And of course, we know that, we entered into a new normal post COVID-19. So we've captured some of the changes with recommendations for how practitioners can really meet standards and guidelines as it relates to the visitor experience. The third learning objective is to guide participants in terms of consumer shifts and trends, and also to facilitate meeting traveler demand. Module 2, which speaks to delivery of health, safety, and service in CBT businesses. Again, there are 4 learning objectives. Firstly, this module reviews health and safety concerns affecting the Caribbean, and by extension, tourism, the tourism sector, and CBT. Secondly, there are guidelines to develop a thorough understanding of customer service quality. What do we mean in terms of delivering service par excellence in the CBT context? Thirdly, quality standards and safety checklists are provided for accommodations, food and beverage operations, and sites and attractions. So we found that these were the 3 main subsectors of tourism that operate in the CBT context. So we've provided information and guidelines for these 3 subsectors of tourism. And fourthly, we've included templates. And one template supports the development of a personal action plan to improve visitor services and ultimately the visitor experience. Module 3, which speaks to the future of community-based tourism attractions, includes considerations for how to curate the travel experience for visitors. And Mr. Blanco from UNDP would have mentioned the importance of redefining the 3 S's in the context of Caribbean tourism, these being a focus on social inclusion, sustainability, and smart destinations. So we've included guidelines, how-tos, and valuable information to support the reimagining of Caribbean tourism across these 3 pillars. Module 3 also includes guidelines for long-term disaster planning management with recommendations for risk reduction and crisis communication plans. And lastly, includes insights on future implications for CBTs, with a focus as well on the need for technology adoption, for digitization, for seamless service, for market access, and being able to meet visitor demands. So in summary, the chapter really supports the aim and original thrust towards the sustainable management of CBT experiences, sites, and attractions. And this corresponds to the demand from post-COVID-19 travelers who are avidly seeking unique cultural and nature-based experiences in a safe setting among friendly people who take pride in their identity, heritage, and the natural environment. In terms of a framework for excellence in the context of community-based tourism, certainly we emphasize the importance of having clear health, safety, and service standards, and the chapter provides information for all the regional tourism stakeholders that have an interest in CBT to not only meet, but we hope surpass the standards or the criteria. We also believe that CBT should be people-centered with a focus on customers, the employees, and integrating local feedback mechanisms. Missing from there is the community being at the core of any CBT experience. We believe it is important to have clear performance management and measurement systems, and we've provided templates in the context of the chapter and the online course to meet this need. We recommend recognition, rewards, and incentive programs, of course, technology adoption, and particularly important is the focus on curating and telling our stories as it relates to the local culture and the heritage that really localizes the CBT experience. Lastly, ongoing training and development is key, and this is why the CTO undertook the initiative of developing this online course, as well as the chapter on health, safety, and standards. And we really do hope that it will support process improvements. So in a nutshell, this is a summary of the chapter, which was produced by Ms. Leacock, of course, with the support of CTO and our partners, UNDP and Compete Caribbean. In fact, they supported us in terms of disseminating a survey to engage practitioners and those business support organizations to understand the trends, the needs, the challenges in the as it relates to community-based tourism, and with the aim of supporting micro, small, and medium enterprises. Thank you, Sharon. Over to you, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Amanda, for that overview into the chapter. We're really inviting everyone to access it and to and have a good read of it. So colleagues, I had invited you to write any questions or comments you had in the question and answer function on this platform. And I'll now take a look at them, and I will direct them to, I believe, some answering has started to take place. So I'll just look through very quickly. We had a question in the beginning about posting information related to the consulting firm of Jim Fit, and that has been provided, Velsoft Learning Materials, Inc. There was a request for, there was a question about exactly what is Compete Caribbean, and that a link to Compete Caribbean was provided in the Q&A section also. So please take a look in there if you also had that question about what is Compete Caribbean and what do they do. There was a question regarding the sharing of a copy of the CBT manual, and I believe that Sharon Coward had placed in the chat a link to get to the toolkit. Yes, it is there. On our website, there's a link in the chat function with which takes you to the CBT toolkit, and in there you will of course be able to find the CBT manual. And then into the questions that have been posed recently, we have a question about, okay, will an electronic copy with the new chapter of the CTO CBT Enterprise Handbook addressing the topics of health, safety, and service be made available on the websites of CTO and CCPF as part of a revised handbook? Amanda, would you like to answer that for us?
Sure, Sharon. Absolutely. We will post a digital copy of the chapter online via the CTO's original tourism education and awareness website, ourtourism.onecaribbean.org. And in fact, Sharon Coward has posted the link. So certainly the chapter will be posted there.
Great, thank you very much. We have a comment. Good day, just wanted to say that this is a great initiative and it's a necessity. Thank you very much for that comment, Mr. Jones. And the question was, is the course self-paced? And I think I can take an answer. I can answer that. Yes, it is. The course that Jim would have introduced you to as he did the walkthrough, that is indeed a self-paced course. So you, as you appreciate, a self-paced course means go at your own pace, okay? We have a question here. Can we see the slide again on what module 2 was? Module 2 is all about. Amanda, could you bring that up quickly?
Sure.
Thank you.
It's not.
It was there, okay.
Here we go.
2, right. So that is
delivering on health, safety, and service in the context of community-based tourism businesses, with information on health and safety concerns, guidelines to deliver customer service quality and to meet the standards for health and safety, as well as a template to develop a personal action plan.
Thank you.
It speaks to delivering on the experience.
Thank you for that, Amanda. We have another question here. Is there any specific focus on agritourism?
I can respond to that. We actually have 2 case studies that focus on agro-tourism. One is Tush in the Bush, which is a farm to table experience offered by really enterprising innovators in Jamaica. So it tells you how they developed the experience and also how it is delivered, community benefits, and how the local or traditional cuisine is also incorporated. The second case study is a young entrepreneur in Barbados that is delivering a holistic, I think, vegan inspired experience. So we have included 2 case studies, and in the chapter which outlines standards for health standards, we include some information related to agro-tourism experiences broadly. It's included, it's indicated as one of the trends. I think it's FLOSS, fresh, local, organic, sustainable, etc. So there's a lot of rich information in the chapter that would allow either the enhancement of an agro-tourism experience or to develop an experience from scratch, so to speak.
Thank you, Amanda, for that. There's a question about training on the toolkit, and do I need to be trained in order to train? And yes, persons were taken through the trainer, if I'm correct, Amanda, related to the toolkit. So that would need to be done, but please do take a look at the link in the chat function, and you will see, you'll have access to that toolkit, and it will provide you with some insight into what was produced as part of the toolkit that is being used by various countries as they roll out their community-based tourism programs. Question regarding to signing up. Also in the chat function, there's a link that I believe was given to take you to the Caribbean Tourism Institute. So once you get onto the Institute, Yes, it has been provided in the chat link. Once you go into the Institute, you just have to follow the steps that was provided by Jim when he did the walkthrough, and you can access the course. The homepage will show the course, and you just go from there by adding it to your cart and purchasing it, and it's free, but you go through that process in order to be able to then be signed up and have access to the course. We have a comment here. Really excited to see that there's further dissemination of this course. Well done to Caribbean, and CTO. And this is from Judy Kowarski, who was the main author of the CBT Enterprise Manual. And so we're ensuring that these wonderful resources continue to reach our partners far and wide. And so what we will do is ensure that if Amanda, if you can take a look at any other questions there that we may have missed, that you can provide a response to, and surely respond to folks for us. But we do encourage all of you to go to that link that was provided in the chat function to access the actual chapter and have a good read. Very good information in there that would allow you to kind of understand why it's important to embrace health safety standards, and also to be able to pay close attention to your service standards as you continue to offer your CBT experience to visitors. We also encourage you to go on to the Caribbean Tourism Institute, the online platform, and to access those micro courses. Self-paced, as we said, so take your time. You don't have to do them in any particular order either. If you are interested in Microsoft Module 3 or 4, you can go there. We, of course, encourage you to do it in order, but there's no need for you to do it in such. So it's flexible and it's totally within your, up to you in terms of choice. So, so thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your questions and your comments. We've now come to the end of our agenda, and I'm pleased to be able to conclude our launch today by extending sincere thanks once again, to some of our partners and important folks who were key to this initiative. The CTO owes a debt of gratitude to its regional and international development partners for the assistance and support, which were integral towards the successful outcome of today's event. To the team at the UNDP office for Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean, Mr. Marlon Clark, Mr. Miguel, forgive me, Guiraro, and Ms. Mariama Trotman, who led this collaboration. Thank you for your support, your guidance, and commitment through the intense 4 months of project implementation. To the team at the Compete Caribbean Partnership Facility, we note your commitment to regional tourism development, and we thank you for the long-standing partnership with the Caribbean Tourism Organization. I commend the diligent efficiency and stellar work done by the amazing team at Velsoft Learning Materials, Inc. in producing the online course with a very tight timeline, I must add. I also applaud Ms. Joan Leacock for producing a comprehensive and well-researched chapter on health, safety, and service in CBT, which will be an updated resource for CBT and micro, small, and medium enterprises. It's equipped with, as you heard, how-to guidelines and checklists to mitigate and manage threats to health and safety while maintaining high-quality service standards. Very, very important. Thanks is also owed to Ms. Judy Karwacki of Small Planet Consulting and Mr. Kennedy Pemberton for their work related to producing the CBT Enterprise Handbook. To the regional partners and member states, to the regional partners and member state representatives who supported by reviewing the contents of the online course. We say a profound thank you to all of you. I would also like to make mention of the CTO staff and consultant who provided support in numerous ways, including proofreading and editing and graphic design, including Faye Gill, Marvell Seeley, Suzette Kelman, Sophia Lashley, Sharon Trotman. Thank you for your time and keen eye, and thanks must also be extended to my colleagues, Sharon Coward and Adrian McAllister, who provided IT support for this launch event today. To you, the participants, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for making the time to attend today's event. We trust you will utilize the very valuable resources which have been produced to support CBT development and guide the safe delivery of CBT experiences. The CBT online course will be available for registration and enrollment via the Caribbean Tourism Institute website from, I believe it's the 2nd of August, correct, Amanda? The 2nd of August, you will be able to access and register and enroll for the CBT online course. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. I want to bid you farewell and do hope that you have a productive and enjoyable remainder of the day. Thank you for being with us. Thank you all.
Perhaps